Thanks for being with us here today on the eve of the arrival of Storm Ian. I'd like to begin with a quick reciting of Psalm 46, a verse from there, that God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in time of trouble. And we ask for everyone's prayers, for those who have been tragically and terribly impacted by this hurricane in the state of Florida. You've seen the images that have been coming forward today, and it's really been a tragic storm so far. So you might say we're blessed that by the time it gets here, it's weakened. Some folks say it will remain a tropical storm. It'll be out over the waters of the Atlantic for a little while, so it may strengthen to a Category 1 hurricane again. But I would say that given the alignment of its direction into Charleston and the Low Country, you're not going to know the difference. It's going to feel like a hurricane around here tomorrow. And we are taking this storm seriously, and we need our citizens to be prepared. And tomorrow, when this storm is upon us, stay home, stay out of harm's way, and that's going to be good for everyone. The convergence tomorrow of intense rain, along with a high tide expected around this time tomorrow, and storm surge that is currently predicted between 3 and 5 feet. The convergence of all that happening at the same time is very reminiscent of what we saw a few years ago with Hurricanes Matthew and Irma. And it's likely that water will come over the low battery wall, where we have not completed yet the elevation of it. Low-lying areas in the city, including the hospital district, could see inundation tomorrow. So the city of Charleston is expecting to see a lot of water tomorrow, and that's again why we're asking folks to take this seriously and stay put, hunker down, as I say. We're getting ready in all kinds of ways. We're making sandbags available for our citizens at various locations. We're making our parking garages available late today, and the County of Charleston is doing so as well. So if you think your car needs to be protected, you can move your vehicle into a parking garage. And this may be kind of a mundane matter, but I got to ask our citizens' cooperation on this. We're doing everything we can to pick up all the trash by the end of the day today. Landfills do close at 2 o'clock today, so we got some limitations there. We hope to get everybody, but at the end of the day today, when you go home, if your trash can and or recycling can has not been picked up, please bring it on in and secure it, because it's just going to create more mess for us all to have to pick up. So again, very mundane, but at the end of the day today, if your trash can and recycling can have not been picked up, please bring them inside. Our customer service line is open 24 hours a day for the next little while. That number, I hope everybody knows, is 724-7311. That's for non-emergencies. If you need the City of Charleston about anything other than an emergency, call 724-7311. Of course, if you have an emergency, dial good old 911. So next, I'd like to introduce Ben Almquist. He's our new City of Charleston Emergency Management Director. He just came on recently, but he's a seasoned professional, and we're so glad to have him as part of this incredible team, Charleston, of employees that comes together like you've never seen on occasions such as this. Ben?
Thank you, sir. Currently, the city of Charleston is at operating condition 2. What that means is that we are in preparation mode for the oncoming storm. As the mayor mentioned, what we're seeing with the current conditions with the storm is that it continues to strengthen in terms of its effects for us. Every time we get an update, it seems to show that we're going to get a little bit more than what the last update showed. So we are preparing right now for hurricane-like conditions, very reminiscent of what we saw with Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Matthew. So especially if you had effects from those storms in the past, please anticipate something similar this time around and make appropriate preparations for you and your loved ones. We anticipate tomorrow morning at about 0800, 8 o'clock in the morning, that we're going to go to operating condition 1. And what that means is we will be in full response mode. That's when all of our emergency services are geared towards the storm. So that's when we take this on in full. And, Mr. Mayor, that's my update.
Thank you, Ben. Next up will be Gianna Shaw-Johnson and Emily Beck with our Housing and Community Development Department to talk about sheltering and our outreach to those most in need. Gianna, Emily.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor, thank you, City Council, and certainly the leadership of Charleston County Council. We want to emphasize to our unsheltered neighbors actually taking advantage of the shelter opportunities that are available in our community during this storm. We would ask those that support them, our service providers and others, to ensure that we communicate as effectively and as often as possible during this time, that our unsheltered and homeless individuals and take advantage of the 2 shelters that will be open in the community. There is a pet-friendly shelter for those who have animals at 3841 Leeds Avenue in the North Charleston community. That's the Sheriff's Admin Facility on Leeds Avenue. In addition to that, Dunston Elementary School, located at 1825 Remount Road in North Charleston, will also provide shelter to those who need it. In addition to that, we have team members out in the field, out in the community, passing out information related to these shelters so that, again, folks and individuals that are unsheltered can take advantage of it. So how do they get to the shelters? I'm going to ask Emily to come up and share that information as well as any other information pertinent for this population of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Gianna. So free transportation is being provided to each shelter. There are over 50 bus stops that are providing transportation. You just look for the blue hurricane bus stop evacuation signs. That information is available on the county emergency management website. And there's also emergency contact phone numbers and whatnot on there as well. So emphasize what Gianna said. If you are unsheltered or in need of assistance, then please seek out those shelters.
Thank you, Gianna and Emily. And I would add to that, you all know that Governor McMaster issued an emergency declaration yesterday for the state. The city of Charleston likewise followed suit and issued an emergency declaration for the city of Charleston today. There is no evacuation order has been given. But if you live in a home that flooded, got water in your home during a recent hurricane, I would highly advise you consider relocating by way of one of the shelters or just staying with someone else, because there will be water tomorrow in this city. Next up, I'd like to call on Deputy Chief Jason Cruson and then Police Chief Luther Reynolds, and Deputy Chief Cheeto Walker is here with him as well. But before they come forward, I want to make another statement to our citizens. We all love and respect our first responders and the work that they do. The best way you can show that love tomorrow is to stay home and stay out of harm's way. They're going to be ready to answer the call if anybody needs help. But again, let's not put them to the test unless we absolutely have to. Stay home and stay safe tomorrow when this storm comes through. Chief Cruzen.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The fire department has increased its staffing to provide additional resources, including high water vehicles. We have those strategically staged throughout the city. We also rely on the efforts of our response partners. We've been coordinating closely with those, not only the police department in Charleston, but our fellow responders in our neighboring agencies. We hope we don't have to use those. So as the mayor said, please stay out of the flooded streets, stay in a safe place. We have those resources available, but again, we do not want to use those. So please stay safe, and if you see flooded water, stay out of them, find an alternate route, turn around, don't drown. Thank you.
I think the mayor and everybody has covered this adequately, but I'll just reinforce the message that's been provided already. Our Emergency Operations Center is set up. All of the partnering agencies are connected. I've received calls from Charlotte Mecklenburg, from Chief Keel, from SLED, from all of our neighboring jurisdictions to offer their support and mutual aid if we need it. We have a lot of resources in place. We've put our officers on 12-hour shifts. We've canceled, obviously, all the events that were occurring in the city, which keeps people off the roads and allows our officers to focus on keeping the city safe, keeping our residents safe. We're going to do everything possible to make sure that we help people. But I just want to emphasize the message that the mayor and others have provided. Please stay home, stay out of harm's way. We're going to have a lot of road closures. There is going to be significant flooding, and we want to make sure that we keep people out of harm's way so that we can focus on other things, more important things, to life safety and keeping our city and our residents safe. So we're grateful that this weather pattern is not as significant maybe as in Florida, but it is significant, as the mayor has emphasized already. It's turning in our direction, and we want to make sure that everybody stays home and stays out of the flood, stays off the roads, stays away from the city. If you don't need to be here, please don't come here during the storm tomorrow and Saturday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you for providing interpretation for those hearing impaired. I'd like to call next on Officer Tilley, who's going to give us a recap in Spanish for our Hispanic citizens. Officer, thank you for being here.
Buenas tardes, yo soy oficial Tilly con la policía de Charleston. La ciudad de Charleston permanece en con 2 mientras los funcionarios que se preparan para los impactos de la tormenta tropical Ian. En jueves por la mañana, en previsión de la tormenta tropical Ian, el alcalde de Charleston, John Teckenberg, declaró el estado de emergencia con la ciudad de Charleston y aprobado los siguientes 3 ordenanzas de emergencias. Una ordenanza que autorice al jefe de policía Luther Reynolds y sus designados a limpiar tráfico de carros en ciertas calles, en áreas designadas que sea necesario para proteger la seguridad pública. Y una ordenanza que autorice el John Teckenberg en consulta del jefe de policía Luther Reynolds, el policía Luther Reynolds, para imponer un toque de queda si for necesario para proteger la seguridad pública. El Servicio de Meteorológico Nacional emitió una advertencia al huracán, una advertencia de tormenta tropical, una advertencia de marejada ciclónica de 3 a 5 pies en lo condado de Charleston en las 24 horas. Se prevé que la tormenta tropical Ian toque tierra cerca de la frontera entre Carolina del Sur y Georgia, y vienes con vientos sostenidos de 70 millas por hora. Se esperan grandes inundaciones costeras junto a la marea alta a las 11 de la mañana para el viajes por la noche. Se esperan inundaciones considerables debido a las fuertes lluvias a las 11 de la noche. Se esperan los vientos aumentar en largo del día. Se protegen alrededor de 4 a 8 pulgadas de lluvia. Se esperan inundaciones considerables con las mareas ciclónicas, potencialmente mortales, de 5 pies, especialmente alrededor de las mareas altas a las 11 de la mañana y las 11:55 de la noche. Se esperan vientos sostenidos de fuerte tropical como 70 a 75 millas por hora temprano. Es probable que los vientos más fuertes sean desde la mañana a las medianoche. Nosotros de la Policía de Charleston estamos aquí para la comunidad. Y si tienen más preguntas, pueden accesar nuestro website en charlestonsc.gov. Gracias.
Gracias. Thank you. All right. So I know the track of the storm has changed a lot over the last week, and early indications were that there would be very little low impact to the low country and Charleston region. That has changed, so maybe we got into a little complacency. I just want everybody to know, once again, take this storm seriously. Spend the rest of the day getting ready for it, doing whatever you need to do to be prepared, and tomorrow, stay home and stay out of harm's way. And thank you all for being here and helping us share this message. If anybody has any questions at this point in time, we'll be glad to take them.
Can you talk about some of the ordinances that you were talking about in the city council meeting earlier and kind of what those were?
So City Council met this morning at 9 o'clock. We issued an emergency order, as I mentioned earlier, but Council also approved the ability of the city, upon the advice and direction of both the Chief of Police and the Mayor, to close streets, even to close whole sections of the city if need be, depending on just how the flooding evolves tomorrow, and also the tool to be able to put a curfew in effect if we needed to.
And will any of those road closures, street closures, those will be made if needed as we see the effects of Ian?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Well, for the road closures and those section closures that you were talking about, will any of them be preemptive, or will most of them be as we see needed with Ian?
As needed. And if you don't know our application, our app, the City of Charleston, you can download it. It's called Tie-Dye, and it lists all the street closures as they occur. We post them in real time, and you can see those during the day as they occur. Any other thoughts, questions, suggestions? Well, thank you again for being with us. Be ready and be safe. God bless. Thank you.